Fears in the rear view, right now on a mission, trying to stay the course on this road to redemption. Giving up seems tempting, but no need, cause I got you and you got me. A little UNITY will get us by through the storm and the rain. I'll be by your side. Look alive, the best has yet to come. Just some words of wisdom, plenty more. I know you've been looking for a breakthrough, trying our best to make do. Every day is something new, but change gon' come. Oh yes, it's true.
Hi, welcome to Redeemed and Restored podcast. I'm your host, Mike Noland, and with me today, I've got my friend Erik. Say what's up, Erik.
Hey guys. How you doing?
I got to meet Erik just recently, man. Our mutual friend Jason, who came on the show a couple weeks ago, Jason Pillow connected us, and we got to chat about Erik's testimony. And after we talked, I'm like, man, I would love to have you on the show. And he was able to make some time and hop on. So I'm super appreciative of you being able to take the time and just share your story of, what God's done in your life, your redemption story, and how he helped you walk through the struggles of addiction. And there were some really cool things that you told me that I'm excited for you to share as we get going. But first, man, I'm going to just introduce yourself, like whatever you want to cover, man. Let people know how you're doing today, how much time you've got, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll hop into your story, man. We'll go from there.
Sure. So my name's Erik Oglesby, as we already stated. I have been sober 5 years. My
Nice.
clean date is March 3rd, 2020.
Cool.
We are now a program manager for a shelter with the Salvation Army, one of the largest shelter in Seattle. We hold over 269 individuals
Every night?
every night, 24 hours,
Dang, man.
7 days a week,
Wow.
365 days a year. So,
Holy shnikes.
yeah. And I also oversee our severe weather program, which means on top of what we already do during the wintertime when it gets cold, I take on at least almost another 200 individuals out at like Exhibition Hall, Pavilion Hall. City of
Man.
Seattle will give us like a hall that we can use. And we can do that. And then I also oversee the overnight program, which is another 35 individuals every day. So,
Dang.
yeah. Other than
Man,
that,
that keep busy.
yeah, it does. Other than that, I pray a lot to be able to get through the days. Um, I go to my meetings. I try to stay connected with the fellas as much as I can. Being a program manager, it takes a lot of your time,
Yep.
stuff like that. But
Right.
I find time to make sure that I stay in good mental health and yeah, rock and roll from there. So
Right on, man. That's cool with what you do with the Salvation Army, and that's not easy because the homeless epidemic, the just everything that goes on downtown Seattle is nuts. And I mean, it is in every city, right? Every major city, but I know for sure because when I know you went through the ARP program, which we'll talk about in 2020, but I went through in 2018, so we were right by the Mariners Stadium, the Seahawks Stadium, and it was like we would go walk to go hop on a bus to a meeting or whatever, and you're like, man, you would see some crazy stuff,
it's
but that's
gnarly.
really cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gotten even gnarlier. Um, I've
I'm sure.
I've at times kind of wondered like when does it get better? Um,
Right.
but you got to have the hands in order to help it get better. So
Yep.
here
Yep.
I am.
Yeah, man, you keep fighting the fight, and you never know what you're doing that could help jumpstart somebody's trip to recovery and getting help. Because I talk to a lot of people that they're like, I just don't get it. Like, why don't people want to get off the streets and stuff like that? There's all these programs available, and I'm like, most of these programs to get off the streets, you've got to get sober, and people have to be ready. And at that point, and a lot of people get in this lifestyle, man, where they're just living on the streets and they can just use drugs and they literally just wake up to figure out how they're going to make enough money to get themselves high that day, if they even slept. And then it just becomes this vicious cycle where you don't see change or a different life as being something that's possible. So giving them shelter and an opportunity to get through another day, and hopefully that day is the day that they finally start walking in that direction. But I know it's not easy work, man. So God bless you for what you do. And I think it's cool that you stayed connected to the program that helped save your life. That's a good place to be. From all of my experience in recovery and just everything that has to do with the struggles that you and I have had. When you can stay connected with the thing that sparked and gave you life again, and got you introduced to, Jesus, introduced to God, introduced to recovery, all that stuff, you're in a good spot. So that's cool, man. Good for you. You oversee a lot, and cool. That's awesome. So thanks for sharing that. In 5 years, that's so cool, man. You got sober right when, like, the worst 2 years of my life
Yeah.
started, man. COVID was crazy and it was bad, but
It
we'll
was
jump into,
literally 2 weeks.
yeah,
2 weeks after I
that's
went to the asylum.
yeah, that's I remember because I a lot of stuff happened then. I was moving into a new place because I had a girlfriend that I shouldn't have been with, and everybody told me not to get in that relationship after I graduated from the Salvation Army, and I so badly wanted to get out of clean and sober living, Oxford houses, because I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, and then literally get that apartment, man. And COVID hit, like, yeah, that second week of March, and then it was off to the races for her and I. I was on probation, but it became stupid easy to not. I didn't even have to talk to my probation officer anymore. He started just letting me text him, and because he knew that he wasn't going to come see me, I wasn't going to come see him, and he gave me the okay to travel out of state and all this stuff, and it was bad after that. But that's good that you got help then, man. Almost. You said so. It is. Let's see, 2020 March. So a little bit over 5 years. So cool. So I'm sure you can remember a point in your life where you never thought you'd even get 5 minutes. So 5 years has got to just blow your mind. But cool, man. Well, let's start off. Let's go back to how you were raised, man. When you were a kid, I like to ask everybody, um, was God in the home growing up? What did growing up look like for you? And when did drugs or alcohol or both? When did you see that it really started to become a problem for you? So let's start there, and then we'll keep it moving from there.
So let's see. Well, my family's military. I was born
Okay.
overseas, in the Philippines.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So all I knew was moving. As I grew up, all I knew was moving here, there, and everywhere. Yes,
Yep.
the Lord was very deep in our homes. My dad was a deacon
Okay.
at one time.
Cool.
My
All right.
mom has like 3 or 4 biblical thesauruses. Like would take us through the word and everything. Um,
Cool.
I think once once we settled down into an area, that's kind of where my trouble started. Because I never really had like stable friends. No one was
Mm,
ever really a friend. It was like somebody that you knew
right.
down the block, right? And then
Yep.
3 years later you move.
Yep.
Once it was that everything became stable and everything like that, like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to uh, gain friends or be a friend or anything like that. So moving through like elementary and junior high was really
Hmm.
difficult. Um, I mean, these kids, they all grew up with each other in the same neighborhoods, right? Um, I pushed through all that. I got to about junior high, going into high school. Um, and that's where I found weed, pot, and alcohol, right? A
Hmm.
friend of mine had a
Yep.
sister that was willing to buy beer.
Yep.
Things like that.
Everybody's always finds that older sibling, right? That'll hook them up. Yep.
It,
That was my older brother.
yep,
Yep.
it's the crux
Oh.
to the beginning of the whole thing, right? Um, and it was kind of off to the races from there. I had a coworker of mine. He was a grower. Once I got
Hmm.
through junior high into high school, he was a grower. Um, and that's about the time where things started to kind of fall apart at home. Um, I wanted to do things. My parents didn't want me doing things. Started putting kind of like restrictions on how it is that the things needed to be done. So I started bucking the system. Um, the whole gambit, skipping school and uh, uh,
Hmm.
not doing the homework and just kind of like unraveling and falling apart. Started finding the kids that were uh, a bit questionable to be hanging around with.
Uh-huh. Right.
Got into gangs and started running around and doing things that I just had no business doing, none whatsoever.
Yep.
About 11th grade, 10th, 11th grade, I found cocaine. Um, and yeah, that changed life. Um,
Game changer right there, man.
yeah. Um, it wasn't too much longer after finding cocaine that I found meth. And
Hmm.
the two,
A lot cheaper.
yeah, it's cheaper
Yeah.
and the ride was just as good at that time.
Right.
I'm
And
still,
lasts a lot longer.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm from the era where it's called the biker dope. Um, and you didn't really have to worry about fentanyl, in it or anything like that. And man, you knew when you got a clean bag and a good bag, right?
And it was off to the races at that point. Yep. And you
Man,
try to get as much of that as you humanly possibly could because, yeah,
um,
now the stuff's crazy, but yeah,
oh yeah,
it, not saying it was good back then, but you didn't have to worry about like now it's like, it seems no matter what, it's 50-50, maybe even more like a 75% chance you're going to instantly go into psychosis off of anything that's out there and you might not come back. And it happened to me multiple times where, man, I'd go on a sick one and I'm just like, and cocaine was my drug of choice, but when you start to get into a rough spot, you're like, all right, man, this is going to last longer. And it would, these psychoses, man, they would, I I would literally think stuff was happening, and then all of a sudden you come out of it, and you're like, "Dude, that is crazy." And I've shared that a lot, but I'm just reiterating the point that the drugs now. I know it's silly to say drugs are bad, but man, now they're just like
well,
it's something different. Whatever's in them, man, it's crazy.
yeah. Again, and I start to understand what they mean by like eras of drugs.
Yep. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
none of them are good, but there's a time where they were better than what it is now. Um,
Yeah, now you either go into psychosis or you get a batch of fentanyl in something that has no business having it in it and you die. So
I
it's
watch it
those
every
are your
day.
two options.
I watch it
Yeah,
every
I'm sure you
day.
do.
Um,
It's crazy.
I
All right, man, we'll jump back in. Sorry, I just wanted to interject with that. Yeah.
No, that's absolutely awesome. So we fast forward through high school, finding those, climbing into older sister now is able to buy us bottles and things like that. We're doing,
Yep.
the high school parties, right? I went from finding myself to be kind of the outcast in the earlier years to having a group of people to be with. We won't necessarily call them friends because, well, the things we were doing, that's not what a friend
Yeah.
wants you to do, right? Um,
Right.
but went through all that, from about the time that high school ended, um, up until getting to the Sally. I mean, the years are blurs, man, just
Hmm.
absolute blurs. I mean, there's a time where I'm sleeping on a buddy of mine's couch. We're staying at his mom's house. I'm on their couch. Um, Come to find out, his parents are doing meth. Well, his mother's doing meth. Um, and now we're smoking with her once his dad goes off to work. dad works for Boeing,
Yeah, that's
so
oh wow.
he's gonna be gone for hours, right? I
Right.
mean, we've thrown parties. It was crazy. That whole thing ends, and it's kind of like, well, where do I go now? I've done enough things that I can't go home, right?
So so like as soon as did you graduate high school? Did you get through high school?
So yes, I did. Well, I didn't graduate. I had enough credits to walk. But
Right.
yeah, there were some things that happened. Funny story. So the few weeks leading up to graduation, I don't know
Yeah.
how it works everywhere else, but they had brought out a table of like all the gowns and things like that you can buy and purchase and blah blah,
Hmm.
right? And one of the items on the table was the class ring, right?
Huh?
So I
Yeah.
found myself being all of the wisdom in the world, and I snatched one, right?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
beautiful. Mind you, I had just got done having a couple shots in second period, second or third period, with a buddy of mine who brought moonshine in that day. I was
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Moonshine's
oh
rough.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so I snatched that. Uh, by the end of the day, they had me in the office. My parents were called, um,
Yeah.
and I was told, "Hey, guess what? You're not gonna walk." Um,
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah. So I
So your addiction at that point, when you're like, you said you found cocaine in like 10th, 11th grade. My story's similar, man. My parents were in the Salvation Army. They were officers, right? And but they would go into it and then they're like, "No, we're not going to do that." And they would hop out and then they'd hop back in. So we moved all over the place and I went to tons of different elementary schools. And then when we finally settled down right around my freshman to sophomore year, that was when I really started to go off, to the races, hanging out with a bunch of older people that were doing all the things that I shouldn't be doing, but I started doing same thing, man. And I barely graduated. Like I did high school completion at Bellevue Community College, man, because like I had crazy stuff happen at Juanita High School where I was just being stupid, man. I parked in the vice principal's parking spot just to be a jerk. Like then the security guard called me into the office and found out that my address wasn't even right because I didn't put my parents' address. Put my buddy's address because I wanted to go to that school because I didn't want to switch schools for the 80,000th time, right? But it was all like just stupid stuff that I did to until I finally did high school completion. But I know that I used a ton throughout that period of time. I partied just like you did, man, but it was to escape trauma and just a lot of different things that happened when I was younger. And then I would say by about, 16, same time, 15, 16, getting introduced to cocaine, man, and whatever. I would do anything if it was in front of me. And at that point, heroin was the only thing that didn't get put in front of me. That came later in life. But I would do it. And so I could say that at that point, man, my addiction was already out of control. Would you say the same? Like you're 18, 16, 17, 18, man, and you're just doing things you shouldn't be doing. Is that
absolutely,
where you're at?
absolutely, I'm off the
Smoking meth with your
rails.
buddy's mom
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
I mean,
yeah,
shit,
I get it.
that's kind of the precursor to
Yeah.
absolutely bonkers going off the when you're when you're smoking or doing drugs with somebody's
Yeah.
parent,
Uh-huh.
right? Like,
Yep.
yeah, there should be a light that goes off that goes, "Hey, look, this isn't good." Um,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
pretty
probably
sure,
not in a good situation right now, but
yeah,
yeah. Yep.
that light didn't go off for me, and it was
Yeah.
it was a while. I mean, a little after that, I found uh pills, perks, oxys. I was smoking those, snorting those.
How old were you then? So 18, you said that whole kind of life with friends and all the partying and all that crazy stuff kind of leveled off or died out. So how old were you when that happened and you switched to pills
Um,
or found pills?
so I was probably around 20, 20 in my 20s, early 20s,
Okay.
20 to 22.
All right. And then you discover perks and oxys and
Yeah.
all that. And
And then,
okay,
well,
what happened? I can guess.
yeah, well, so about that time, I had moved to Eastern Washington,
Okay.
and Chelan, Wenatchee, out there in a tourist town, a tourist area.
Yep.
So it was kind of like, things to do and stuff like that. And, um, so started popping them first, right?
Uh-huh.
And then somebody introduced me to, uh, smoking them. And I was like,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, it's next level right there.
Yeah,
Yep. Right.
yeah, yeah. It completely went off the rails on that one.
Uh-huh.
I was at one time a volunteer firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I just kind of stopped answering the calls because I can't get off the
Yeah.
floor.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
that
It's crazy.
that's about the time in which I brought back smoking meth off
Mm-hmm.
foil. So now
Right.
I'm
Oof.
smoking oxys and perks off the foil
Yeah.
and doing
Yep.
meth off foil. So yeah, I was kind of in a screwed spot there. Um,
Yeah.
Jumping from job to
Yep.
job, you know. Um, at one time I was there and I had kind of a pretty good reputation and name. But yeah,
Right.
it didn't take long for me to destroy that. Um,
Yeah, man, if you're heavily using meth and it's just a matter of time before it's not gonna work. I remember when I was about 19, man, I had a girlfriend that I didn't know when I moved in with her, right? At that time, meth wasn't really a thing that I did on a regular basis. I might have tried like crank or something gross at that point, but I hadn't discovered the stuff that you're talking about. What'd you call it? The
biker
trucker
biker dope.
biker biker dope. There you go. Because this is like late '90s, like right around that time, and I hadn't discovered any of the lithium or any of that other kind of stuff that was out there. I'd never really done it. I'd never smoked it, right? But I moved in with this chick, and she didn't look like she was a meth addict at all. Like she ate food, she slept, right? She had a good job actually, a nice apartment, and I needed a place to live, and we were kind of hanging out. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I live here now. And I found out about a month in that she did meth. I found it by accident. She was gone for the weekend. I look in a drawer and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden, I'm doing that with her. And I had a job, and it was like a retail job, man. I showed up one day, and it's like summertime and it's hot, and I'm wearing a sweatshirt like this, but I'm just sweating. And they've got me at the front counter, and I'm supposed to be checking people out. And I'm like, no, I can't do this. I can't do it. I literally clocked out, and I've been on lunch there ever since, man. I'm like, no, I can't do it. Because I was just paranoid. I just knew everybody knew I was dripping sweat, and I'm there, and I'm not even able to hide in the back. I'm supposed to be answering questions, and I hadn't slept in however many days, and that was the end of that job. So that's usually what happens when you go on a sick one. You're doing everything you can to just stay high. So
It's a
that makes sense.
so the when I lived in Manson, which is just
Uh-huh.
outside of Chelan. To get from Manson to Chelan, it's about 3, 4 miles from like
Right.
downtown Manson to downtown Chelan. There
Uh-huh.
were times where I would get so tweaked out, gapped out. I could leave from like the orchards, like back off in Manson, and walk
Uh-huh.
to Chelan. I
Right.
I almost died one time because the car had no idea that I was on the other side of the wall. And I'm pretty
Right.
sure they were probably a little drunk,
Yeah.
just by the way that they were swerving a little bit. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, almost died that night. That was close. Um,
That's crazy.
I'm burning through these months and years of being over there. Uh,
Uh-huh.
I've gone up into the hills with people that I have no idea who they are. After
Right.
being warned, like, hey, look, those kind of people are still around here, smoking drugs, doing drugs with all those guys. I
Uh-huh.
almost fell 450 feet. Had the car that slid down the hill not hit the one tree that was right there, sir, I wouldn't be talking to you right now because I would have fell
Right.
450 feet off a cliff.
Dang. Yeah, that'll do it right there. Yeah, no
It
matter
did.
who you are, 450 feet.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it didn't. I continued on. Um,
Yeah.
pushing forward. I get back over here to Seattle.
Right.
It's probably, yeah, probably around 2008. I 2000, into 2007, going into 2008, I ended up going to prison for
Okay.
breaking and entering. I did a few months on that one. That's just a pinprick of all the things that I've got on my
Yeah.
record, right? And
Right. Yep.
went, did some time, get out around 2008. Um, Ended up getting a job in a restaurant, right? Um,
Right. Yep. Those
worked,
are usually the options.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Worked,
Restaurant construction, man. That's yeah, when you got legal problems or a record or I had a warrant out for my arrest once in another state and was a fugitive of justice in Washington because I got caught on the warrant. Like the only place that I could get a job was a breakfast
yeah.
restaurant. So yeah, I'm with you.
Uh,
Yep. Right.
did that. Um, Found meth again. Like, and it's crazy because it's there everywhere you turn
Hmm.
around. You don't have to look for it. It's already there. Finished up working there, and it was to the streets. Um, Ended up on the
So
street.
you're back now west of the
Yeah,
mountains, right? You live in the Seattle-ish
yeah.
area and you find drugs again, you get a job, and now you're out on the streets of Seattle. Is that where you hung out, or were you down south or up north?
It was the Tacoma area,
Okay,
Tacoma Mall
right.
area, actually.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
that's a rough spot,
yeah,
especially to be out on the streets. Okay.
yeah. I've already burned the bridges of particular individuals, so I can't go there.
Hmm. Yep.
I'm just kind of like up and down the corridor there, and then I find myself out here in Seattle. Um, I had no idea that the ARP was around the corner when I was sleeping at, the Greyhound bus station over here.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I had no idea that help was there. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I wasn't ready for the help at that time, right?
Yep. I feel you. Yep.
There was a lot of um, anger, anger itself, anger at my parents, uh,
Hmm.
anger at the way society just wouldn't give me what I want. Um,
Right.
Angry at people that called themselves my friend, right?
Hmm.
But when I'm calling you and I'm hurting and I'm sick and I'm detoxing literally on the street, vomiting and all
Hmm.
that other stuff. Um,
Yeah, it's brutal.
yeah, and you're not there.
Yep.
But who was there? The dope man.
Yeah. Who? Of course.
Um,
Yeah.
it wasn't hard. Once I got to Seattle,
Every time.
yeah, once I got to
Yep.
Seattle, it wasn't hard to find what it is I needed.
No.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, you could walk down for 3 to 4 blocks. And that's how it was here in Phoenix, man. I didn't know anybody in Phoenix here. And my dad dies. And I'm like, I'm going to go get high. And I just legit looked up, like, what's the worst part of Phoenix? Like, and I'm like, I know where to go.
yeah,
And I went down there and I pulled in somewhere. I'm like, yep, I could talk to any of these people. And within 5 minutes, you can find it. So it's readily available and way too easy to find. So I'm sure, man, that's easy. And when you're sick and you feel that way, even when you have a place to lay down a bed, it's horrible. So I've been on the streets, man, when I got booted out of an apartment and I had nowhere to go, and now I'm coming off everything, and they got sideways rain in Seattle that just pelts you to your core, man, where you're just like you can't get dry anywhere, and it is so brutal, and you've got the chills and you're sick to your stomach, and you got the the restless legs and restless legs, restless arms, all that kind of stuff, man.
Ache.
It's a horrible time. So you can pay somebody what, $20 and feel better. Now it's even cheaper with those fentanyl pills, but man, it would be tough to be out on the streets and not take somebody up on that to feel a little bit better, because that would just suck, man. It sucks normally, but to be out in that nasty weather and all that and be coming off all that stuff's got to be horrible.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'll tell you this much. There was a moment where it was like I wanted to die. Um, I I had thought about I had thought about coming off a bridge, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think one of the things that was stopping me though is the fact that it's like I've always had this like nagging thing they call a conscience, um, where it's like that's gonna affect somebody else's life that day, traumatize someone there.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
it's just going to be easier if you just go ahead and like overdose. I actually tried to. Um, I went, I got a little side hustle. I made like $300, something like that. And I went and bought like enough meth to where I was like, if I do all this in the next, hour or so, I should be able to implode my heart. And
Yeah, you should have a heart attack.
yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Funny thing is it didn't happen. So, um,
You just went on a sick one.
oh, super, super sick. Um,
Yeah, I'm
Matthews
sure,
all
man.
around. Um, I
Oh,
lo and
that's crazy.
behold found heroin. Uh,
Yeah.
Smoked that. Um, I just, I don't know. It was more like just keep tearing yourself down, because you're not good.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I've gotten to that point too, man, where like late 2021, early 2022, like I told you it got really bad 2020, right? With this girl that I was with, and I started using intravenously. I started doing heroin for the first time in life. Now we're shooting heroin and cocaine together unless we can't afford that, and then it's meth. And I told you that stuff's just crazy now, with psychosis and all of that stuff. But after I lost my job in late 2021, because I just disappeared, right? And went on a sick one and left the state of Washington, ended up somewhere in Oregon. I don't even know where I was going, man. It was just like I was paranoid and never called into work, right? So, and I worked from home at that time. So I found a way to get myself fired. I saw my life unraveling where I'm like, this is all about to get really bad. And there were several times where I would do so much in one shot that I was like, I would hope that on the other end of it, that I'm just not going to come out of it. And for whatever reason, right, every time, there were times where it would drop me to my knees and I was like, "Oh." Like it's gross, man. But looking back at it, I know that that was God's hand in my life, not allowing that to happen, even when I was not caring whether I lived or died. And for you, I'm sure it's probably the same thing, because look what you're doing now and look how many people you're helping, right? So it's I got to that point though, man, where I'm like, I'm never going to be sober again. There's no way. And that's the miracle in all of this. I'm sure you probably felt the exact same way. Like, there's no way. So I can't keep living this way, but I'm never going to be sober. I couldn't even imagine a life that way. So that's when you get to the point where you're like, it's okay if I die. And I'd rather die just getting so high that I just drift off into, whatever than any other way. So I've been right where you're at, man. It's a really, really rough spot to be in, and it sucks. So I feel you on that one.
yeah,
So you got to the point where you're shooting up crazy amounts of meth to try and just to end it, and you're using heroin now too. So opiates are a big problem. You also had all the pills and all that stuff. So you've got that combo. So after you did that large amount, when you came up on some cash, how did it proceed after that, to where you finally got to the point where you're like, man, I need to get some help. Like, why don't we move through that part and then talk about what got you into the ARP, the Salvation Army's program?
So, I ended up finding love. And yeah, we know how that works out.
Yeah,
When
right,
there's
yeah.
drugs involved.
When you're Yeah, it always works out pretty well, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, it's great.
Yep.
Um,
Two toxic people stuck in addiction, man. This is gonna go good, right?
bad.
Yep.
Um,
Just sprinkle in a little love and we'll be fine. Yep.
it,
Yeah.
we it was just an ups and downs and things like that. And it started to become violent. Not with me, but it became a point to where it was like, okay, enough is enough. Um, so uh, I started having really bad like psychosis and things like that, to the point to where it started to worry her, right?
Okay.
So she started looking for like places to go and have me talking to people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of like she drops me off pretty much at Valley Cities. I
Okay.
went in, I spoke to her. I forgot the lady's name, but
Okay.
I went in.
Valley Cities is what's Valley Cities? Is it just a hospital or?
Valley Cities is a center where individuals can find help,
Oh, okay.
speak to somebody in emergencies with like hard psychosis syndromes, things like that.
Okay.
And then they
That's
can,
cool that that's there, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
they can diagnose and say, okay, here's what you need, blah blah blah.
All right.
The lady
So
that,
your girlfriend's worried about you and she drops you off at Valley Cities and okay.
yep, and that was
All right.
pretty much it on that. She's gone now.
Okay.
Valley Cities.
Probably not a bad thing.
Nope. Valley
Yeah.
Cities sends me over, and like literally right next door, they have a day center, right? I don't have
Okay.
anywhere to go. I don't have anyone now, anything like that.
Yeah.
I've still got a, little bag of whatever, still just kind of like, oh, trying to get through it. Um,
Yeah.
I go to the day center. They try to give me something to eat. I can't do that. And I end up just taking off, and I start hearing the voices about, we're gonna kill you, this, that, and the other. Um, and I ended up back at the doorstep of Valley Cities, and the same lady that I was talking to ends up calling me a cab to
Oh, wow.
the Valley Cities also has a uh, detox center. So yeah, they sent me over to the detox center. Um, and crazy part is I end up at the detox center on like a Wednesday or Thursday, something like that.
Uh,
And you can only stay there 5 days. Okay. So I've gone through these couple of days. I haven't met any counselor or case manager or anything. I get a message saying, hey, but you need to figure out what it is you're going to do. And mind you, I've literally had like the last bit of the drugs that I had taken from me. I'm still
right.
walking around here in their clothing, uh, trying to like figure out who I am. Uh,
Right. What's up? What's down? Yep.
yeah,
All that.
all
Yeah.
that. And now they're telling me, hey, you need to do this.
Got to figure something out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, here's how God works. um, God is always going to be looking out for you, even though you have done everything opposite of what the Lord has said for you to do. He's still going to put his hand out there and say, "My son, my daughter,
Yeah. That's good, man.
do
That's
this."
good.
Because I come back, I sit down at the table in their day room, and there's a guy in there, and he's got a pamphlet, right? And he's like, "Yeah, I'm about to go here." It's a 6 month program. They feed you, they clothe you, everything. And I'm like, first off, I'm not buying any of it. Secondly, I just want to go lay down because my stomach's in knots.
Right.
And I look at the pamphlet and he's like, yeah, man, it's the Salvation Army. They've got this thing. And I'm like, okay. about that time, I started thinking that night, I go, I don't want to go back to the streets. Like that whole thing sucked horribly. Um, so I woke up the next day and I said, okay, forget it. I'll try it. Right. And that just so happened to be the day that
Hmm.
the counselor that was there, the case manager that was there says, okay, what are you going to do? Oh, we'll reach out to him. She's reaching out and she's reaching out. Um, the first couple of times, no one answered. But the last time where I'm standing in her office and I'm like, okay, what are we doing? She calls back again. Um, and she hands me the phone. And Jason Pillow,
Yep.
one of your previous guests, has
Yeah.
answered the phone and said, "Hey,
Right.
Salvation Army, what can we do for you?" Everything else like that. I'm asking to get in. They're asking me, "Are you sober?" This, that, and the other. I told them that I was at detox, and so it sounds like all green lights. The only thing that was going to stop this was if Mitchell Jump, who was the house manager at that time, was in his office. The Lord is so good. Mitchell had not left for the meeting that he was supposed to be at an hour previous because the meeting got
Wow.
moved. He was
Yeah.
literally walking out of his office. He had like 3 minutes to go get in the car. I could
That's
hear in the
crazy.
background Jason turn to Mitch and say, "Hey, we've got a guy who's trying to get in. What do you think?" Mitchell asked him the question, "Is he sober?" "Yeah, he's at detox right now." "Can he pee clean?" "Yep, he's at detox right now." Well, okay, send a cab.
Wow.
They throw me in a cab and I get to the ARP there in Shoreline on Greenwood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get out of the cab, and I'm not gonna lie to you. At first, I saw that it was like an apartment. I'm looking around for like big Salvation Army sign, right? There wasn't
Right.
one,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So I look at this place and I'm like, man. And I instantly thought, turn around and just walk off. No one's gonna know any different. I don't know that you're ready for this. I don't know that I'm ready for this. Lord, I don't know. I walk down the little walkway. I push the button. "Hey, yeah, hey, how you doing? What's your name?" "Erik Oglesby." "Yeah, come on in." Uh, I open that door, and I'll tell you right now, I open the door, I cross the threshold, and it's giving me goosebumps right now just because, and it's starting to choke me up a little bit because I remember those stairs leading up to that main level. And it was like, all you have to do is you have to climb these, like, what is it, 10 steps? 10 or 12 steps. Yeah, it's the 12 steps because on each step is labeled the 12
Yeah.
steps.
Right.
I
Yeah.
climbed those steps and I get to the office and I just lose it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are gonna help me? No one else has.
Right.
You know,
Man.
my own parents went and torpedoed my goals of going to the military and this, that, and the other because of the friends that they have. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where it started. You know, what are you gonna?
Yeah.
Most everyone else is I've either used or they've used me. So what are you guys gonna do for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the day that I met Jason Pillow,
That's so cool, man.
and I've been sober ever since.
That is that's incredible.
I
That's so
remember,
cool.
I remember going, we're going up to the bedroom, uh, 302, and they showed me my bunk and everything. I sat on the end of that bunk, for about a week, just rocking back and forth. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
and they'll, they take you out and they have you, do work and everything else like that. None of that really mattered. It was like just a blur. Um, I'd come back and I'd sit on the end of that bed and I'd just rock back and forth like, what's going on? Yeah, I started pushing forward, doing more work there. Um, Talking to guys like Pillow, um, you know, learning more about, again, COVID came in and shut a whole bunch of stuff down. So we had
Yeah.
like booklets, right? Um, and in
Yeah.
those booklets, it would tell you about the how to understand the addictive personality and being able to connect trauma to that addiction. Um, well, I would have never in my life, before all this, would have ever thought about trauma. I had no idea what that was.
Hmm.
I didn't know. Um, but now you're sitting here and you're hearing stories after going through these booklets of like understanding trauma and being able to see it within yourself and um, being able to speak to yourself on your own traumas. That's a lot of times
Hmm.
what hurts the most is even being able to admit to yourself the traumas. Um, and then you start going through scriptures, right? And you start seeing some of those traumas where Samson, I mean, the traumas that that guy had to go through in order to be who he was. Job, oh
Yeah.
wow,
That, that's a rough one.
yeah,
Yep.
wow.
Yeah.
Um, but to see it and say, okay, Lord's working in your life is what it is. That's why you're
Absolutely.
here, right?
Yeah.
A few months into it,
Yeah.
I will say that I stopped and I surrendered one day in Cap,
Hmm.
and I was just like, I can't. I broke down. At that time, our captains were the Swains. Um,
Yep. I know them.
yeah,
Yep.
and I broke down, and I think that's the first time where I actually felt like Captain Swain was actually talking to me,
Hmm.
not not just telling me the good feeling kind of stuff to try to
Hmm.
keep my spirits up. Um, because I completely broke down in chapel. Um, yeah, I think previously, probably about a week before I broke down, um, I was there at the ARP. A couple of my roommates, we had just got done talking the night before, and it got really kind of heavy. The next day, we wake up and we're about to go out to the store and
Hmm.
do some work and everything, and I had that thought and feeling again of just end it.
Yep.
So I walked down the path and I kept walking to the street, and just lo and behold, a car went past, but here comes a truck, and it's just like a big
Yep.
cement truck, big front end, Peterbilt front end cement truck. And as I go to
Those are
start,
big.
yeah, go to start walking, buddy of mine. Matt Corey reached
Hmm.
out and he goes, "Hey, where are you going?" Yeah, he grabbed me and we talked on the way to the van, but like when he grabbed me, it was like, "Yo, get back here! What are you doing?" And
Right.
he kept a hold of me pretty much that whole day. It was like just his arm around me, like, "Yo, man, well,
Mm.
we'll make it. You'll be okay." Um,
Yeah.
about a week later, I ended up as one of the housemen, working in
Yeah.
the kitchen.
Right.
I'll say that that probably changed a lot of things, because when you're in the house, right, you have a little more downtime, um, and that gave me the opportunity to really kind of peel into some of the scripture and stuff that we were given for work, for our homework and stuff.
Yeah. Right.
I had totally forgotten how to research scripture. Like I said, my mom's got like a couple thesauruses. My dad was a deacon. Like I came up in church.
Hmm.
I totally
Yep.
forgot how to open a Bible and look and read and the answers that it is that I need in order to build
Right.
the armor that I need to have. Yeah, my armor was tarnished and had holes in it, all sorts
Yep.
of stuff. Um, but being able to sit there and kind of mend it all over again, um, it was hard. It was hard. It's where I got to meet, and I'll say now, like these guys that I'm speaking on now, I
Hmm.
call them brothers. I call them friends. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so this is like James Erig. Well, he's the program director now, for the
Right.
ARP. He was a houseman
Yeah.
when I came in. Um,
Yeah.
he helps me. It's just interesting the people that God just puts in your life. James Erig, Matt Corey, um, Jason Pillow. Uh, you know, I mean that list is crazy. Um, Alvaro, uh, Juan. I mean, it just the list goes on and on. And a lot of these guys are individuals who are no better off than me. You know, and like you said, some of them have the same stories, right? You get to a
Yeah,
point where
man.
you're
And
like you're trying to end it.
yeah, I went through the ARC in 2018, graduated at the end of 2018. The Swains were the captains when I went through too. So I know 'em pretty well. And, the craziest thing about that entire journey. So since then I've relapsed a couple times, right? Now I've been clean for about 2 years. Similar to your chapel experience, man. I had a radical encounter with Christ and I just broke down and I was on the floor, tears soaked the floor, and then started diving into my word and trying to understand it and ask for help and be mentored and all that kind of stuff, which now has just got me thinking and acting and doing everything different than I ever have in my life. But that moment, like you talked about in the chapel, was that pivotal moment that really God stepped in and changed everything for me. But one of the coolest things, man, that I hear in your testimony, because we're already close to an hour, believe it or not, man. You've shared a lot of really, really great stuff, and you've been real about it all, man. You've shared some emotion, and you got me almost teared up a couple times, man, because I just know that emotion when like finally you're like somebody's gonna help me, and that just sitting there like I should be dead, I shouldn't even be here, and I'm sitting here sober, like this has got to be fake or something, but the coolest thing you told me about this when we talked, and Romans 8:28 says that God works all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose, right? Your story is interwoven with God working these things together through people and circumstances. I mean, your girlfriend drops you off at the time, no longer in your life. She's gone, right? But she just is probably like ready to like move on because of your psychosis. And she's like, I don't know what to do with the guy. Takes you to a place where they end up helping you and getting you in this, sitting next to a dude who shares about the ARP. Jason Pillow talked about this in his testimony he was on a couple weeks ago. He was only there at the Salvation Army in 2020 because he couldn't get back into his trade, right? And because of all the stuff that happened with him, he was still fighting to get back into the Union. And so instead of him backing off and just being like, this is stupid, my whole world is falling apart, I can't even get my job back, he just dives in and decides to serve. And so the reason why he answered the phone is because he's serving, because he just didn't know what else to do. He's like, I'm going to dive into the program that helped save my life. And there he is. And then Mitchell gets delayed, man. And then because Mitchell was in the program at the same time as I was too. He graduated a little bit after, so I know Mitchell. I know all these guys. And I still have connection with Jason, who was at the end of when I went through the program. Still connected with all these guys, even though I've had my struggles and gone through a couple other programs since. Just the way God orchestrated it right before COVID shuts everything down. If you don't get in then, you might not ever even make it back. And then, right, yeah, all these people that have orchestrated that God has orchestrated just perfectly in your life to lead you to this point where a week prior you almost step out in front of a truck, but somebody that you're with stops you, right? And is a real brother to you and walks alongside you that day. And then you finally have this moment with God where you completely surrender. And it's an incredibly beautiful thing when I look back and I'm like, man, God loves me. Like, I should not be here. I
Yeah.
should be dead. I should be in prison.
Yeah.
And he made a way where there legit was not a way there. I've said this before. There was a negative way. He parted my Red Sea, rescued me from Egypt, and now has put me in an environment where my faithfulness to him can flourish, and has put you in an environment where your faithfulness to him can flourish. Man, you're helping people that have had similar struggles as you get off the streets. I'm sure you talk about the ARP. I'm sure you talk about how God saved your life to these people, and you're this pillar of hope in this just destitute and just horribly awful situation that is the homeless, epidemic in the city of Seattle. And you're out there, man, doing it, and God is using you in a mighty way, and that is incredible, and that's what God wants to do. That's what the word redeemed means, and I've talked about this before on other episodes. It was how I stumbled across it when I was doing what you were talking about, man. I was studying the word redeemed, and I ran into Isaiah 43:1, where it says, I've redeemed you, I've called you by name, you are mine. And then I start studying it, dork out on it, the Hebrew and the Strong's Concordance. And then I wind up in a commentary in my study Bible in Isaiah 41. And it says that in the book of Isaiah, that the word redeemed really refers to the fact that God rescues his people and provides an environment for their faithfulness to him to flourish. And it references the Exodus. And I'm like, oh man, that is it right there. That is what God did for me. And that's what he did for you. And that's what I like to share at the end of every episode as we wrap this up, is that if he did it for Erik, if he did it for me, he can do it. He can do it for you. And Romans 10:9 says that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and you believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. So when you genuinely get to the point where you surrender, like Erik talked about, you get to the end of yourself and you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and you believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved, because that's why Jesus came. He knew what you were going to do before you did it. He knew that you were going to get stuck in the situation that you're in. He knew that you were going to get wrapped up in whatever addiction, whatever struggle that you're going through right now. And he wants to rescue you from your Egypt and provide an environment for your faithfulness to him to flourish. And Revelation 19:10, the second half of it, says that the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. And that's exactly what we heard today, was the testimony of Jesus in Erik's life. And again, that just means that if he did it for Erik, he can do it for you. God is no respecter of persons. When you truly surrender your life, when you truly repent, which just means to change your heart, change your mind, and turn and go the other way, turn towards God. When you seek him, you will find him. Psalms 34:4 says that I sought the Lord and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. And that's what it sounds like happened for you, my friend. And that is such a cool testimony. Jason Pillow is an awesome dude too. So I'm so glad that he connected us. I've stayed connected with him all this time, and he knows about the ups and the downs and my slip ups. And he's always encouraged me through all of it. Like, man, you can pick yourself back up. Just surrender, right? Give your life back to God. Surrender your life to God, and you can turn and go the other way. So it's cool that you've got incredible people in your life that you're giving back to, just an organization and a program that's done so much for you, and you've rediscovered your relationship with Christ, your relationship with God. And I share the email address for the show at the end with everybody, because if you're out there and you're struggling and you need help, if you're in the Seattle area, Erik's going to be one of the people that I'm going to call, or Jason, or any of these people that I know up there. I had Charles Hines on the show too. He was the house manager when I went through the program, right? And I know he still does music and stuff with the guys out there. He's an awesome dude. There's so many resources. I've talked to people in Iowa. I've talked to people on the East Coast, West Coast, California, down here in Arizona, Teen Challenge, the Dream Center, Salvation Army. And I just want to be a resource for people that if you're struggling and you need help and you don't know where to turn, and maybe you just turned your life over to Christ today after you heard Erik's testimony and made a decision to follow Jesus, we want to get you connected with the right people that can walk alongside you. And sometimes you just need help. Sometimes you need to surrender and be like, my life is a mess and my life is completely unmanageable and I need some help. And we want to help get you that help that you need. And we want to get you surrounded by people that can help mentor you and disciple you and just show you that change is possible. So Erik, man, thank you so much, bro. I'm glad I met you, and I'm going to stay connected with you. I'm going to pray for everybody real quick, and then we'll wrap this thing up. God, we just thank you for this time today. We thank you for Erik's testimony. God, thank you so much for connecting us. And I have been inspired and given hope through his story. Just sharing the nitty gritty of all of it and showing people what an absolute miracle it was when you stepped in, and how you worked all things together for the good in Erik's life, because he loves you and he's called according to your purpose. And now you've set him in a place where he can help other people and spread your love, God. And we just thank you for rescuing him. We thank you for rescuing me. We thank you for anybody who's heard this today and has decided to choose to follow you, has chosen to say yes to Jesus as their substitute. And we thank you for everything that you've done. We thank you for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. I just pray that if anybody is struggling, that you surround them with people that can help them and disciple them and mentor them. And if it's a program, that you get them connected with the right program or connected with us or whatever needs to happen. We pray that this message penetrates the hearts and gets to the people that it needs to get to. We pray that you just bless Erik for taking the time to share his story. We know that it's going to bless so many people, and we thank you for all that in Jesus' name. Amen.
Man.
All right, man. Well, Erik, thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate it so much. And thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and God bless you.